Hey, welcome back. This is going to be one of those talks, the kind that makes you stop and think, wait, why hasn't anyone said this before? Because today we're getting into something that happens in almost every romantic relationship, but hardly anyone talks about it honestly. Let me ask you this, have you ever shared an amazing moment of intimacy with a man? One where you felt close, connected, maybe even completely in sync, and then suddenly his energy changed? He got quiet, seemed a bit distant, or maybe he just fell asleep and left you lying there thinking, what just happened? If you've ever felt confused, a little rejected or disappointed after sex, not because the act itself was bad, but because of what came afterward, this is for you. Because here's what a lot of women don't realize. There's something deeply emotional that men want right after sex, but they rarely speak about it. And when they don't get it, they start pulling away, not just physically, but emotionally too. This is the moment that decides whether sex becomes just a one-time thing or a lasting memory he keeps thinking about. So today, I'm going to share 5 important things men often need after sex. The emotional, mental, and physical things that many women miss. Once you understand these, you'll have a whole new level of insight into how men really feel. This isn't about changing who you are, it's about understanding what creates real connection. And when you get this right, he's going to feel so emotionally safe, so seen, so understood, that being with you won't just feel good, it'll feel unforgettable. Let's begin. One of the most misunderstood parts of a romantic moment is what happens right after sex. We talk a lot about foreplay, attraction and chemistry, but what often gets ignored is the emotional space that opens up after the intimacy ends. This part is especially important for men, even if they don't know how to explain it. What many women don't realize is that after sex, men often want emotional closeness, not distance. That might sound strange because there's this stereotype that men just disconnect after sex. You know, the idea he finishes, rolls over and falls asleep like nothing happened? But here's what's really going on. During sex, especially when there's emotional closeness, a man might feel more open and exposed than he'd ever admit. His guard drops for a moment. He's not just going through the motions. He's present, he's giving and receiving, and in that moment, he lets himself be seen. That openness isn't just physical, it's emotional too. And after that moment of vulnerability, there's often a dip. His body might release chemicals that make him feel sleepy or withdrawn. But what happens in the few minutes afterward can deeply affect how he remembers the whole experience and how connected he feels to you. When a woman shows warmth in that moment, when she reaches for him, offers a gentle touch, looks into his eyes, or simply stays there with him, it gives him a feeling of safety. He feels like, I'm not alone in this. That kind of emotional comfort right after sex can leave a memory that no move or technique ever could. Most women don't pull away on purpose after sex, but some might feel awkward or unsure, thinking things like, does he feel different now? Ironically, that creates the very distance he's hoping you'll avoid. A simple move like curling up next to him, placing your hand on his chest, or saying something like, that felt really special, can be more powerful than anything that happened during sex itself. When you offer that kind of emotional comfort, when you stay with him instead of slipping into your own thoughts, you make him feel chosen all over again. You're not just saying the sex mattered, you're showing him that the emotional risk he took meant something. This is where connection either grows stronger or fades away. And when you get this part right, you're not just the woman who turned him on, you're the woman who left a mark on his heart. Because in the end, men don't just want sex, they want to feel held after letting go. And if you can meet him in that quiet moment, You'll be unforgettable to him. One thing that catches many women off guard is how unsure a man might feel after sex, especially about whether or not he pleased you. It's not just about performance in the basic sense. What men often want isn't just to be skilled. They want to be good for you. They want to feel like they gave you something beautiful, exciting, and meaningful. But most men won't ask, "Did I do okay?" That question feels too raw, too vulnerable. So instead, they quietly wonder, picking up clues from how you act, what you say, or this is where you have real power. Right after sex, a man is silently looking for one thing, a sign that he mattered to you in that moment. And no, it's not about boosting his ego. It's about giving real, honest words that link your pleasure to his effort. Saying something like, "You made me feel amazing," isn't just praise. It reaches him deeply. It's even more meaningful if you mention something specific. The way he kissed your neck, the way he slowed down, the way he looked at you. These are the things he'll replay in his mind later. When you point them out, he doesn't just feel appreciated, he feels like he gave something that was received and valued. It's not about acting dominant or macho, it's about knowing he connected with you in a real way. But silence can make him question everything. You might be lying there, totally happy and relaxed, but if you don't say anything, he might think you're disappointed. That small doubt can grow into a bigger fear that he didn't meet you where you needed. So don't underestimate what a soft compliment, a thankful whisper, or even a playful smile can do. When he feels like he lit you up, like he created a memory that mattered, the bond between you deepens. It becomes more than physical, it turns into something emotional. At the end of the day, men don't just want to feel like they did a good job. They want to feel like they made you feel something special, something real. And when you confirm that, you give him more than satisfaction. You give him a sense of purpose. There's a mistake that sometimes happens right after sex. One that breaks the emotional flow between two people. Everything feels warm and close, and then suddenly one person gets up, checks their phone, turns on the TV, or walks away. And just like that, the bond starts to fade. What a lot of women don't realize is that for men, sex often isn't the final part of intimacy. It's the beginning of a deeper emotional space. And when that door closes right after the act, it can feel confusing, even painful, though he may not know how to explain why. What he usually wants, but might not know how to ask for, is a little more of that emotional closeness. That doesn't mean more sex or holding each other all night. It just means staying in that space you created together, letting it breathe a little longer, letting it settle. When you stay nearby, whether through a soft touch, gentle words, or just lying there quietly, you show him that the moment meant something. You show him that what just happened wasn't just physical, it was emotional too. You can draw soft shapes on his chest with your fingers, whisper something kind, say how good it felt, or just stay still with your bodies close without any need to move quickly. Those quiet moments stick with him. They're not just sweet, they're grounding. Because during sex, both of you step into a place where the rest of the world fades away. It's just the two of you, present and open. And when that moment ends too suddenly, it can feel like falling out of a dream. But if you stay just a little longer, if you hold onto the softness, you tell him something powerful. This wasn't just sex for me. This was something more. And that's the part that lingers. When a man feels a lasting closeness after sex, he connects that emotional comfort with you. You become the person he feels calm with, not just someone he wants physically, but someone he needs emotionally. That's when things begin to shift. His attachment deepens, not because of how the sex looked or how long it lasted, but because of the space you created around it. So next time you're in that soft, quiet afterglow, stay there a little longer. Lean in, smile, breathe beside him. Stay still in that moment. You're not just growing desire, you're building trust. And for a man who's not used to being emotionally seen, that means everything. Sex, when it's truly meaningful, is one of the most emotionally open acts a person can have. Even though we often think of men as distant or only driven by physical needs, the truth is many men feel a wave of surprising vulnerability after sex. But here's the part that people rarely talk about. They don't know what to do with that feeling. So instead of opening up, they usually shut down. This moment right after sex is when you can either create a deep emotional connection or quietly miss the chance. Because what many men need, without even realizing it, is a space where they can feel completely open and raw, without fear of being judged. And this kind of emotional safety doesn't come from long talks or deep counseling sessions. It's built in the small, quiet seconds when you simply let him be. After sex, his guard is down. He might feel exposed, not just physically, but emotionally too. He may have opened up in ways he usually doesn't during regular life. He might even start doubting himself. Was I enough? Did she enjoy it? Did I mess something up? These thoughts don't mean he's weak. They just mean he's human. But he's been taught not to show them, not to speak about them, and definitely not to bring them into romantic moments. That's why how you act after sex is so meaningful. When you give him the space to be quiet without jumping to conclusions, when you let him speak without needing to dig deeper, when you just hold him and say nothing or softly touch his arm as he gathers himself, you're giving him something rare. You're giving him emotional permission. You're telling him without any words that he doesn't have to be on around you. He can just exist. That kind of comfort is addictive for a man. Not many people offer it to him. The world wants him to be tough, in control, and full of confidence all the time. But when he's with someone who lets him relax, breathe, and take off the mask, that's when he gets attached. That's when he starts wanting more than just physical closeness. He wants to be near you emotionally too. And it doesn't mean he'll break down in tears or spill every pain he's ever felt. Most of the time it's more quiet than that. It's a change in how he holds himself, a deep breath, a pause where he just lies next to you, feeling safe in your presence. And when he finally speaks, when he shares even a small thought or a quiet truth, that's your moment to simply listen. Don't fix it. Don't search for a deeper meaning. Just take it in with kindness. Because when a man notices that you're not judging him, not laughing at his sensitivity, and not twisting his silence into something negative, that's when he begins to trust you with his whole self. And trust is what opens the door to lasting love. Right after sex, the body may relax, but the heart begins to quietly ask questions. For many men, one of the biggest unspoken questions is, was this just physical, or did it mean something more to her? He may not say it out loud. He might act like nothing's going on, but deep down, he's looking for something, a gentle sign that the connection was real. This isn't about needing compliments or begging for reassurance. It's something much softer and far more powerful. Men want to feel like they mattered in that moment. That it wasn't just about heat or pleasure, but about closeness. That it wasn't just attraction, but something more. What shows him that isn't some big speech. It's the tiny, honest moments that say, I'm here with you. That could be a quiet smile and a simple, I loved that. Or reaching for his hand and giving it a soft squeeze, maybe brushing your fingers through his hair and whispering, "That was special to me." It's not about saying something you don't believe. It's about letting your presence say that the moment mattered emotionally, not just physically. Because here's something many women don't see. After sex, even the most confident man can feel unsure. He just gave you all of himself in a deep, intimate way. He let go, both in body and feeling. And now, in the quiet that follows, his mind starts wondering, did she feel the same? Is she still here with me? Did that make us closer, or did it push us apart? When you offer even the smallest signal that you're still there emotionally, still connected, still soaking in the closeness, you're giving him something huge. You're saying, you're not alone in this. And that changes everything. It's easy to forget how powerful your tone, your eye contact, and your warmth can be. A lot of women feel unsure after sex too, but if you can stay just a little bit open, that gentle vulnerability is what helps him feel safe enough to give even more of himself to you. It's what makes him want to come closer, not just with his body, but with his whole heart. That soft reassurance doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be true. It's what takes sex from being something forgettable to something that stays with him. It transforms a physical experience into an emotional memory. And in a world where so many moments are shallow or just for fun, being the woman who quietly shows she was emotionally there makes you unforgettable. Because what men often need after sex isn't more pleasure. It's a feeling, a calm, steady sense that what just happened actually mattered. That it wasn't just skin, it was soul. When you can give him that, he'll come looking for it again, and he'll come back to you. Let's pull it all together. Sex isn't just about bodies meeting at its best. It's about two souls sharing a moment that strips away everything fake, performance, pride, expectations, and reveals something real underneath. And what happens afterward is where true closeness is either built stronger or lost in silence. And many women don't know this, but men crave emotional connection just as deeply as they want physical pleasure. But they've been told not to talk about it, not to look for it, and definitely not to expect it. That's why those little moments after sex matter so much. It's not about changing who you are, it's about recognizing how strong your presence is. Men need closeness after sex, not just the act itself, but the feeling of still being wanted, touched, and accepted. When the excitement settles, they need comfort, not fake praise, but true words that say, "You made me feel something good." They need that closeness to continue, not just with words, but with the way you stay close, emotionally and physically. They need space to drop their guard, to feel like they don't have to act strong, don't have to say the right thing or be perfect, that they can just be themselves. And most of all, they need a soft reminder that what you just shared wasn't just physical, it meant something. When you show up in that quiet space, when you give him these small but deeply meaningful emotional gifts, you become more than someone he slept with. You become the person who makes him feel safe. The person who touches not just his skin, but his soul. The one he remembers not just for the moment, but for how he felt after. That's the kind of woman a man holds in his heart. That's the kind of bond that grows stronger with time. And that's the kind of love that doesn't just thrill a man, it transforms him. Because when a man feels seen, truly seen, not for and how strong he is or how well he performed, but for how open he allowed himself to be, that sticks with him. It stays in his mind, in his heart, and he may not talk about it, he may not have the words, but he remembers how safe he felt. He remembers the quiet way you stayed, the way your touch didn't rush, the way you didn't pull away, that memory becomes a place he wants to return to, not just for sex, but for connection, for warmth, for the feeling that he doesn't have to earn love with performance, but that it exists in the soft, honest moments after everything else falls away. This is what builds lasting connection, not just how great things are in bed, but what happens after, the kind of closeness that feels rare in today's world. Because real intimacy isn't loud. It isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's just two people lying close, breathing in sync, saying nothing, but feeling everything. That's where the magic really lives. In the moment where nothing needs to be fixed, nothing needs to be explained, just held. And if you can be the woman who understands this, who offers calm instead of chaos, closeness instead of coldness, stillness instead of stress, you give a man what he may have never had before. A space where he doesn't have to carry the weight of the world, where he doesn't have to be anyone else, where he can drop the role, the pressure, and just be a man who wants to be held. That space is rare. And when you offer it, you don't just win his desire, you win his trust, his loyalty, his heart. The truth is, most men don't even know they need this kind of emotional closeness. No one taught them how to ask for it. But when they feel it, when they experience it, they don't forget. Because it's healing, it's grounding, and in that feeling they find something they didn't even know they were missing. That's why the moments after sex can be more powerful than the act itself. They're the moments that tell him in your quiet, loving way, you're safe here, you're wanted here, you're more than enough.